Hey guys, welcome back to Pixel Dynamics. My name is Arshdeep Singh, and in this video, we're going to learn how to create this awesome digital clock in Figma using auto layout and components. So let's get started. The first thing what we need to create the digital clock is a frame. Press F on the keyboard and drag on the artboard to create a frame of any dimension. Change the width of the frame to 12 pixels and the height to 48 pixels. Let's zoom in. Now let's also update the color of a frame to something darker. After that, we're going to convert it into auto layout by pressing Shift A, and we're going to rename this frame as clock unit. Then we're going to convert this auto layout clock unit frame into component. You can convert any frame into component by clicking this icon which says create component, and the shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-K. We need to make the clock unit into component because that's going to help us scale our design. And it is the basic building block for the digital clock we are creating. Now we're going to take an instance of our clock unit component to create our clock. You can simply select the component, press Command or Ctrl D to create a duplicate, or Ctrl C or Ctrl V to copy paste a component. And the third method is you can select the component, press Alt and drag a copy. We need 2 copies for the clock for now. Select both the copies and bind them together in another auto layout by pressing Shift A, and rename this auto layout as horizontal units. The gap between these horizontal units is going to be 48 pixels because this is the actual height of clock units. If I select clock unit, you will see its height as 48 pixels. Select the gap in the middle and type the value as 48 pixels. After that, we're going to take another instance of our clock unit, and then we're going to rotate this unit at 90 degrees. Let's bring it towards the top of our horizontal units. We are also going to bind this unit into auto layout by pressing Shift A. And now we need to adjust the paddings for this unit. The padding on left and right is going to be 12 pixels. This is equal to the width of our clock unit, and the padding for top and bottom units is going to be 0. Rename this frame as vertical unit. And this is all you need to create a scalable digital clock. Select both the units and bind them together in another auto layout by pressing Shift A. And the gap between these two auto layouts is going to be 0. Let's rename this frame as clock number. Select vertical unit and press Ctrl or Command D to create a duplicate. After that, create a duplicate of horizontal units also by pressing Ctrl D and bring it below the vertical unit. Again, repeat the process, create a duplicate of the vertical unit and bring it down below horizontal units. Your framework is now complete. Number 8 is all you need to create your entire digital clock. Let's zoom out, select clock number, create a duplicate, select both these numbers, and now press Shift A again to bind them in another auto layout. Let's call this frame as clock. Select any one of the numbers and press Ctrl D to create duplicates. The gap between these numbers is going to be 24 pixels. After this, we're going to add 2 dots between these numbers. For that, create another frame by pressing F on the keyboard and dragging on the artboard of 12 pixel by 12 pixels. Give it a color of black, similar to the one we have on the numbers. Let's rename this as dot. Press Ctrl or Command X to cut. Select your clock auto layout and paste. This is going to automatically adjust the dots in the clock auto layout. Press arrow left to bring it towards the middle. And now we need another dot. For that, simply press Ctrl or Command D. Once you have 2 dots, select these 2 dots, press Shift A to create another auto layout. And we're going to rename this auto layout frame as dots. The flow for the dots is going to be vertical. For the width, use hug property, and the gap is going to be 12 pixels. Your clock is ready to tick. Select the clock auto layout, give it a fill of white, and then a padding of 32 pixels, left and right, bottom and top. Now we're going to create instances of our clock. But before that, we need to update the name. Double click on the name and type 1 next to the clock so that we have n number of clocks when we try to create, let's say, a 5-second clock. Select clock 1 and create a duplicate. Do that as many times or as many seconds you need. I'm going to press Ctrl D to duplicate it 6 times. Select all your clock auto layouts and come to the component options. Click this drop down next to create component. From here, you're going to select create component set. Before we jump into the visuals of the clock, let's just connect all these clocks by jumping into prototype mode. You can select prototype mode from here on the right hand side menu, or you can press Shift T as a shortcut. Zoom in prototype mode, and when you hover on any frame, you will see this dot with the plus icon. Click this dot and connect it to the next frame. For the trigger, the option we're going to choose is going to be after delay. And for the delay timing, it's going to be 1000 microseconds. 1000 microseconds represent 1 second. For animation, we're going to select Smart Animate and the curve gentle and duration as 800 microseconds. And this is the setting we're going to use for all the clocks. Once the connections are done, now we're going to jump back into design mode and finalize the visuals. To change the look and feel of all the numbers, you can simply select this single unit, which we have named as clock unit, and change its appearance as you see fit. For now, I'm going to simply change the border radius to, let's say, something about 4 pixels. Make sure you do the same for the dots as well. Since dots is not a component, we can create them as separate components by creating their duplicate outside the component set, and click this button which says create component. Select your component, change the appearance values, select the dots component, and replace your dot component wherever it's appearing. And the easiest way to replace any layer in Figma is first you take a copy of the layer which you want to use, and then select the layer which you want to replace, in this case the dots frame, and press Ctrl or Command Shift R in Mac. Now it's time to update the numbers. To create any number, you simply have to turn the opacity to 0 for these clock units. Let's say I want to create 0. I'm going to select the one in the middle and press 00 2 times on the keyboard to turn its opacity to completely 0%. I want to make 5, so I will decrease the opacity of the units which don't need to be shown. Press 00 on the keyboard again to turn the opacity to completely 0%. It's that simple. Now I'm going to repeat the process for all the units. Alternatively, you can select any one of the numbers you want to repeat, go to the next number and press Command Shift R to replace again. To turn the opacity on for any number, you can press 0 on the keyboard just one time. So that's all done. Because I now need to show the night mode when it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to change the look and feel of my 6 p.m. clock by inverting both the colors. The background is going to be black and the numbers are going to be white. Jump into prototype mode to see it in action. Drag an instance of your first clock. Put this instance of the clock into frame. Keeping your frame selected, press the play button. There we have it. Your clock is now functional. You can utilize this clock in any of your designs or mobile applications if you want to demonstrate something like that. Maybe you can also use it if you're designing for digital clocks or digital watches. I hope you liked the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Pixel Dynamics. We'll see you in the next tutorial.